Hey, what's going on, guys? Cactus Corals coming at you with another one. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about this 14-gallon Biocube I put together a few years ago. It's gone through some different stages. At one point I had, believe it or not, a little bit of SPS in here. But it pretty much wound up just being a softy and anemone tank because I really don't like to maintain this thing. I just basically found that of my 3 tanks, this was getting maintained the least, so I just figured I would put corals in there that reflect that regimen, which is something that I would definitely suggest everyone to do. You know, be realistic with yourself, and if your tank isn't getting maintained like it should, definitely, and your corals are still thriving somehow, I would sell the harder to keep corals before they pass, you know, just word of advice from things I've learned over the years. But yeah, my 2 SPS tanks, my 2 tanks that I have SPS in the front of my house definitely get the most love. But this one definitely, I can see keeping a few different kinds of corals in here. The anemones pretty much sting a lot. They have a pretty wide parameter of sweeper tentacles around. There's actually 3 anemones in here. It's kind of hard to see, but there's 2 roast bubble tips in the top left. I believe one of them's a black widow. The other one's just like a speckled, nice roast bubble tip. I believe a rainbow or something like that. And then I've got some shrooms and some leathers. You can see the big fuzzy green mushroom polyps to the left, bottom left. And then I've got several of the same toadstool leather just hidden around. The fish are going to be actually the first saltwater fish I ever started keeping around 5 years ago. So definitely have a little bit of sentimentality to the fish selection. And this tank's here in my room, so I get to kind of check these guys out whenever I want. And you go to bed with them too, so to speak. And then, let's see, maintenance regimen. I did have a skimmer on this thing, but decided to take it off. I didn't feel like it was doing anything, especially since a lot of these leathers generally like the dirtier water. And I do think they somewhat filter the water as well, because I go very long times without water changes on this thing. I've gone like 3 months, and then most of the time for water changes I'll just take water out of my current tanks, my 180 display or my 45-gallon frag, and I'll just replace it with that, with, you know, like maybe a gallon or 2. So yeah, that's about it for the maintenance regimen. Oh yeah, and then I do a little bit of filter floss in the back, which I change. I'm pretty bad about it. I change like every 3 weeks. But as you can see, there's not too much of a bio load with just the 2 clowns in here. There is a serpent star, I believe, in here, and he hasn't done anything too crazy yet, but we'll see what happens. I figured the clowns are good with the anemone for safety. You can see they just love it in there. And I've had that anemone for a few years as well. You can see there's a little shroom, as well as the 2 fuzzies. And you can see that serpent star, he's got his leg hanging up above the rock right there, or below the rock. A couple little leathers back there. And yeah, I got a little trumpet hanging on back there. It's probably the only LPS. And that's about it. So that does it for this update for the 14-gallon. Maybe I'll come at you guys with another update on this one somewhat soon. I think I'm going to be probably adding a few more corals to it because I'm really liking the coralline growth and just the overall situation with this tank. So Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to link the eBay store as always below, and catch you on the next one.